Okay, welcome back to Thrive in the Future. This week I have Matt from FarmHopLife, and we're also goofing around and trying out StreamYard here to make sure that it records to YouTube. So, welcome back, Matt. It's been about a year since you've been on.
Man, it's been a year. I talk to you
Something.
like all the time, so it doesn't feel like it's been a year.
Yeah, I'm on. I'm on your podcast all the time on the men's forum.
Yeah, that's why I have it. That's why I have the men's forum, just to keep in touch with everybody. It
That's
used to be weekly, then it went to bi-weekly, and then I don't know what it is anymore. What's a tri-weekly?
right. It's
I
once
don't
in a
know.
while weekly, right?
Yeah, it's sometimes once a month, sometimes every month, or twice a month. So
Yeah.
however it
So, what's
fits
new
in.
with FarmHopLife?
Learning patience.
That's our topic
Uh,
for tonight.
it's I've come to terms with it being a slow burn. That for those that listened to last year's episode, I ended up taking a new job last year, and still at that job, and it's crazy busy right now. It's affording us a lot of things to to catch up on, some other things that maybe I was being impatient with,
Hmm.
that now it's maybe a good thing for me that I'm stuck here, let's say, and that I can build up some of these other things that I've kind of been neglecting, like building up like food storage system, that type of
Hmm.
thing,
Hmm.
or having funds to do, let's say, do more stuff around the house. So
Cool.
yeah.
So you had your 20 by 23 project got a little bit reduced. You had a couple scenarios over the summertime, right?
Yep. Yep. I visited Lauren in the Wild from Twitter,
Hmm.
and I did a neighbor of mine who lives about, I don't know, probably 20 minutes away, something like that. So I went over to his place, helped out for a bit, got an interview, then got a tour, and put together in about I think I put the interview was about an hour. I think I had to do a little bit of editing, and then maybe a 30-minute tour or so.
Yeah, that was processing a pig, wasn't it?
Let's see.
That episode
There
you
was
did?
pigs. It was the pig farmer, definitely. He I did some pig chores, like at
Pig
carrying out
chores.
like a bunch of old fencing and stuff, and then there's something else I was there for. I don't remember, but
Yeah, I thought you like
um
processed a pig or something.
no, nope.
Okay.
Oh, you might be thinking about the one before that, where it was kind of like the pilot version. I
Hmm.
went over to his neighbor, but a good buddy of mine, who we went over and we were breaking down like an elk or a deer or something like that to turn into sausage,
Oh, okay, okay.
and
Yeah.
then just like chit chatting for like 3 hours or something. So I just like had my GoPro set up on the tripod in the corner.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
good.
So yep, lot of patience.
So let's talk about that. You had a good idea for a topic tonight about patience. So what do you struggle with patience, and where are you at and where do you want to go?
So being being the oldest, I was always like my dad's like right hand man, and so he's always just like go 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 go, and
Hmm.
so I just always have this like, what are we standing here for? Let's just go do it type attitude, and so very few people operate that way, and so including like it's been a challenge to kind of like dial that back, like having to dial that back. Like if it's on me and I have to dial that back, like fine, like I can understand it. But when other people are telling me like dial it back, like I don't understand why this is going so slow, but whatever. I guess we gotta turn it down some. But
Yeah, because your
there's
job's like super crazy. Go 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 go. Right.
it can be, but it's also very particular. Like very detail oriented. So like in my go 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 go, I can sometimes like miss a step or forget a step,
Mm-hmm.
and crap, now I got to make up for that somehow. Like how am I going to fix that? It's not like we lost millions of dollars so far, but maybe someday, maybe someday I can put that on my resume. But even at home too, I'm like, hey, can we do this thing like right now? No, we have to do this and that. Like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot about that. Why aren't we
Like
doing
you
that
got a
now?
budget,
And then
for it, and you got to wait.
or a budget or things that are more pressing, time sensitive,
Right.
or whatever the case may be. And so then I have to like shift all my focus and energy to like I was gonna do this, and I gotta like back up. The gears are grinding, and then I gotta like put it in this gear over here towards whatever like change in basically completely changing your energy from this to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I struggle with that just because it's like when people ask me what I want for Christmas, and I'm like, I buy what I want on Amazon most of the time, so I don't really have a wish list. And it's funny because I get socks, I get smart wool socks from my kids and stuff,
Not bad,
and
not
and
bad.
those and smart wool socks are not cheap, so but they last me for another year. And then I got smart wool neck gaiter, one of those
Oh yeah.
things that is it's like wearing a scarf without wearing a scarf,
Mm-hmm.
that I really like, and then I'll wear that all winter time. So but other than that, it's like I don't really have any wish list because I buy everything that I want on Amazon or on a garden center or whatever all the time when I need it, and then I don't have stuff I wait around for.
You just like you just have the buy it now, just like I kind of want this now, so I'm just gonna buy it now, or like I need this now, or I can maybe do without it, but it'd just be easier with it, so I'm just gonna go get it.
Yeah, I have to be careful so it's not just the impulse buy, right? And sometimes I'll have
Right.
to, I have to budget for it, of course, but for the most part, it's like, okay, I want this book, or I want this plant, or I want this mycorrhizome soil inoculant,
Yeah.
and stuff, or the two things that I bought this week.
One of the other things about being patient is that like a good side effect of it is that typically you're more risk adverse.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we're coming up on 4 years at this like at this house, like where we're at, like this homestead, and we still have like just the chickens and like a half-assed garden. I thought we'd be further along by now, but also in that time, you got to remember, um, my wife beat cancer, and we had two kids. So there's kind of some big steps in between that have happened in that time. And so it's like it's okay. We just have chickens, and we just have a garden. We didn't, put in $10,000 trying to build a pond and do all this landscaping that like sucks and doesn't work or looks like crap. And
yeah. And that's another thing, is that everybody tries to do everything right now.
Yeah.
When they're starting out with homesteading, and I need to do this, and I'm going to be permaculture, and I'm going to do all that, and then
I'm going to be permaculture.
No, seriously, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to use the stun method because I read it in a book from Mark Shepard, and then I kill every apple tree because apple trees are not supposed to be a stun method. So,
Yeah.
But it sounded like it was right.
Yeah.
Stun method only works if you're doing it from seed, and then whenever, you overplant and then you thin it out and stuff based on what makes it and what doesn't. But yeah, I was like, at one point I put everything in there and I decided to stun method some apples, and they didn't work. So
right. Yeah.
Or I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to have this garden. I'm going to have chickens. I'm going to have goats. I'm going to have, and then what I don't understand is the people that get guinea hens,
the noisy birds. Yeah.
Yeah, those ones, and stuff like that.
Oh, that's pretty good. That was a pretty good imitation.
Yeah, I remember them well, and I just don't understand why anybody would want those. They're just, it's like chalkboard. It's like nails on the chalk.
They're pretty terrible. They're pretty terrible sounds. I guess like if you got a lot of ticks in your area, I guess that's why people like them, or that's what they tell themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
exactly.
Like, in addition to like being risk adverse and like the being patient, you're also like probably more cautious.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the definition of risk adverse, but it kind of reminds me of it's kind of weird learning about Warren Buffett from a 14-year-old, but in that book, Don't Tell Me I Can't by Cole Summers, he was saying, like, I think it was him, that Warren Buffett doesn't, like, he's patient with his buys. Like, that's why he was so successful, is that he like just waited until he saw the right opportunity that was a good deal and jumped on it. So like another way I've heard it put is, let's say you're playing baseball, instead of 3 strikes you're out, you had unlimited at bats. Like you could just wait for the perfect pitch and then swing instead of being forced to swing, essentially. So
or get walked if you don't swing.
Right.
Either strike or you're walked.
So like this year, we had a lot of like, we planted some trees, and then we had to irrigate all those trees. Well, that was a big toll on our well, having to do that. And so we started working on rain catchment. So we had gutters installed, and I knew, like, we were like on the look for like stock tanks, just like anywhere, everywhere. And they're all like, no, all the ones around here. I wish, honestly, like I could make it look good, but all the ones here are either like $200 a piece or like $65 with used motor oil in it or whatever. Like there's no in between.
Like, well, we found out from Grant the other night that his have hydraulic fluid in them and stuff. All this, but still, he gets them for free. And it's like, how in the world?
Yeah,
the ones on Craigslist around here that even have hydraulic fluid, or I bought one that had titanium paint from the road. And it'll wash out. No, it didn't wash out.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say that if it's meant to be painted on the road, I doubt it's gonna wash out.
Yeah, exactly. And
you need like an angle grinder to get that stuff off.
I'm not putting water in that.
So, like, even if it's like for your plants and stuff, that just seems like a bunch of junk. But so all the stock tanks around here were like I don't know, about $1 per gallon. No,
Mhm.
like almost across the board. And so my wife saw this giant like stock tank near us, and they wanted. I did the math real quick. It was like 50 or 60 cents a gallon. I'm like, that's it. Let's go get it. And so now we have a 500-gallon, 500 or 600 gallon like stock tank out in the backyard. And then I did some like part cash and part barter for some work I did at a neighbor's house.
Mhm.
And I was like, how about $300 cash? And, I saw 2 stock tanks in your yard. How about that? They're like, yep, that sounds good to us. And so I got 2 more little, like the ones that are about like 2 feet tall. They're like
Sure.
oval shaped. Those
Right.
ones. One's like a small one, and one's a bit bigger. And so I diverted my downspouts to go. The one in the backyard goes into the big stock tank, and the gutters in the front yard drop down into those oval looking stock tanks. So
What does it
because I
rain?
was patient, it doesn't here. So I'm good.
Are you putting stuff in it to treat the water, since it's sitting there for a long time, or
I'm
you just
trying this
cycle it around
trick
pretty quick?
where if you drop in a copper tube, like from plumbing,
Mhm.
supposed like I've seen nasty old cow tanks, like one with a copper tube in it and one without a copper tube in it, and the one with the copper tube doesn't have like algae growth and all this stuff. Now I
Really?
think I'm still gonna have a mosquito problem,
Mhm.
but that's for later. I'll figure that out later.
Hmm.
Put some sort of like mesh screen or something like that on it so they can't
Copper
use it to
tube. Hmm.
breed. Yeah,
Interesting.
so I got some used someplace and threw it in the stock tank. So I even
Hmm.
put it in my chicken waterers, like short little pieces.
Cool.
Keep the algae off of it. So yeah, being patient in and knowing what you're looking for, like what's a good price and what isn't. Because we looked at tons and tons of options for water storage. Like I saw some people doing like 5-foot diameter culverts. I'm like, oh, that looks awesome. Or
Mhm.
like, something buried, but it was insane how much money it was going to be. It was like in the thousands of dollars
Yeah, for
just
cisterns.
for this stupid container. I'm
Yep.
like,
So what are you using
uh,
it for? Are you using it for irrigation? Are you using it for preps? What are you using it for?
well, I mean, if you treat it, you could use it for preps. So it's kind of like twofold. I mean, we go camping and stuff. And so we've got filters.
Mhm.
If we had to get it, get it out of the stock tank.
Mhm.
So you can drink it.
That's cool.
Not bleach. Treat it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drink the bleach. You treat the water with the bleach. There.
Yeah.
Don't drink bleach. It doesn't kill coronavirus if you do that.
That's funny. So one of the things you said is put in the reps. What do you mean by that?
So every day, you got to make progress in something,
Mhm.
like towards, because it's easy to feel like down and burnt out and sick of tired of doing this. Like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, I need a break. Like, unfortunately, if you want to get to like your end goal, you're gonna have to just put in the work every day. Like I can't remember who I was just talking to. It doesn't matter. Um, they were like taking a break on something and then hoping to just like pick it back up when they're done, and like thinking everything's still going to be there. Like, but you're not consistent. You're not consistent in what you're doing, and so you're going to be way further behind, thinking that you're just going to do all this work all at once to try to make up for months that have gone by and stopping whatever it was they were doing. So like,
Mhm.
think of it like I used to bulk buy Bitcoin, and I think if I had just set up like a DCA, I'd be way further ahead now than the bulk buying that I was doing.
What's a DCA?
Dollar cost averaging.
Okay. Yeah.
So so I would, if you just set up like buy a little bit every week or every day or whatever,
Yeah.
however you want to do
Yeah.
it, I'd be way further ahead now than whenever I bought a bunch of it. So, or like, you and I talk about podcasting a lot and how it's, it seems maybe it's just the time of year that it's tough to put in the effort, get out an episode. And even maybe like, the views are down. I'm just going to skip this week. No, I'll get to it later. And like, then it's easy to be like, I missed it last week. I'm just going to skip this one too. But if you just keep following through and like put out an episode every week, like, hey, I'm still here. I'm putting in the work.
Yeah. I do that every day at 5 in the morning. I get up and I eat breakfast and then I work on whatever side hustle thing I got going on, right? I've got a list of, I want to add this ad to this. I'm going to edit this podcast. I'm going to do that, right? And, and then put in the reps every day. This time of year, it's really hard just because it's hard to get a guest on. So like this week, I did like a 5-minute episode. And
I think I listened to that, or no, I saw it. I think it's in my queue.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because, I write so many tweets and then I stop and I think, is this a positive solution? And is this consistent with my brand? Or I reply to somebody, right? And
right.
And then I say, and I delete it, right? So I had this episode recorded where I was complaining about something, and then I said, yeah, that's not going to work. So I trimmed it down, and it ended up being like 5 minutes long. And it's basically like, hey, abundance. You walk outside.
So how about all that abundance?
Yeah, I mean, quit complaining and look at the abundance. So, stuff like that.
Abundance, everybody.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's complaining about everything. It's really, one of the things that I try and make it stand out is not, right? Make it a different. So, kind of funny.
Yeah. Yep. Just, I think we actually have pretty similar schedules because I'm also up at like 5:30, just working on something. Like I bought Will Horvath's, what's the second course? It's not the Finding Land. It's the it's the farm design.
Oh yeah. Farm design course. Yeah.
Yeah. The farm design course. And it took me a while to get through module 1, but I did it and then just got tied up with work. And so I'm trying to get back into finishing up module 2. But this one's more intensive. It takes some more time to finish out the lesson. So I'm like, man, I just got to like keep chipping away at it. But, I also need to like do my own podcast episode. And so like I finished up writing it out this morning. So I'm going to record it tomorrow morning and hit publish. And that's kind of what I meant by like a lot of little things. Like you got to section off time for like all the little things that have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
so what do you think of his farm design course so far?
So far, I like the way it's laid out.
Mm-hmm.
It's got me thinking about just how water moves on my property.
Sure.
It's really changed like the way I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like not even that far into it. And so
Hmm.
I'm like, man, I wonder how much more it'll like I could see as I finish this up, or at least get through module 2.
Great.
He was he I was maybe my technical writing needs to be a little bit more poetic. When I was like writing out like goals for the farm and property, and I would just go like, get goats, basically. And he's like,
Have
write it
goats eat
more
my
like a
garden.
story, and like have them like, I don't know. It was a little bit more like it was a little bit more fancier writing than I
Yeah.
thought was necessary. But he didn't have. But that was it. That was his. It wasn't like he wasn't like nitpicking or anything like that. I think that's just the way he likes to write,
Right.
because he has to make his content engaging that way. You can't just be like, come on a podcast or write like a email like newsletter and be like, get goats, uh feed them, go to sleep, or whatever. Yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
like, isn't it a nice day outside, even when the air is just like a little bit like chilly, like you don't quite need that heavy jacket yet, but you go outside and you get your blah blah, like you make it a whole story.
Yeah, but he's not reviewing your input, is he, as part of the course?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, I
really?
got
Okay,
to
it's
email him my
interactive.
homework every time.
Really? Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
didn't realize it went to that level. Yeah.
yeah, and then you also get the Telegram chat with it, and then
Yeah. The Telegram chat is great. Yeah.
yep, yeah. So that's what I meant by like a lot of little things all at once, just
Good.
little steps. Maybe it would be better if you were to narrow your focus and be like, I'm just gonna knock this one thing out and just like go. But having ADHD makes that really difficult. So I'm just like, I'm gonna stop doing this. I'm gonna go over here and put my attention over here. Oh, there goes 5 minutes. I'm gonna go focus on that.
Yeah. One of the things about being pre ADHD diagnosis, right, when it was popular, is I've got like multiple threads going on in my head.
Yeah,
I'm like, I've always been working and then thinking about something else at the same time because I'm not really, I'm in work and
yeah,
stuff. So, I'm thinking about the podcast, I'm thinking about the garden, I'm thinking about something else, right? And it helps me, you know, change gears really fast. So that's good.
sure. Yeah, my wife, I'll be like in the middle of something, like thinking about something, and my wife will ask me a question, and I'll start talking about like step 3 or 4, and I'll be like, hold on. And I gotta like wind all the way back to like basically lay out my thought process so she can like I don't want to say like catch up, but like understand where I'm
Sure.
going with
Mm-hmm.
what I'm talking about. Otherwise, it's just like I don't even know what you're talking about. Like like we're planning on getting a different water filter system for the house.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just be like what was it? Let's see. It was yesterday morning. I go, hey, so like this water filter system that I found, she's like, wait, what? Why can't we just keep using the one that we have? Like, okay, now let me back up and explain why we need this other system, because the one that we have sucks
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't fit the bill. And like, even though yes, we already own it, but if it's not like working, blah blah blah, sunken cost fallacy, blah blah blah. So
Sunken cost, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Sunken cost is the worst. Well, we've already spent money on it. Well, don't throw more money after good. Don't throw
yeah,
good money after bad, right?
yeah, exactly. But
Cut your losses and run for the hills.
But like there is that, so like all the little things, like to try to move everything forward a little bit every day, it is also important to recognize like when you can just like go hard on something, like recognize like when you can just like jump in and like finish it up. So
Mhm.
like before this podcast, I saw an opportunity, like a little window to try to fix some electrical that I had outside. So I ran conduit underground from my house to my chicken coop. So I had outlet right there, and I got it all set up so I could pull in new wire. I mean, not relative, like not related, but it didn't work. But I just like, I knew I had to be here for this thing, and I only had so much time before, I could do this and then put my son to bed and then the podcast. And so like, I'm like trying to move like really fast. Like I got this window of time. Like let's just go get this wire. Oh shoot, like didn't work. And so, if anyone cares, water got in. I'm guessing water got in the conduit and froze. And so like that's why the wire isn't pulling out of the conduit. It's like trapped. Broke
Yeah.
it. I broke all of them off. Trying to pull it out. I was pulling so hard.
Oh, that's terrible.
But now I know. That's not going to work, instead of like thinking about replacing the wiring for the next 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I had this little window of time and I took the opportunity to go after it. So
Good.
yep.
Okay. Final thoughts. I think StreamYard's about the.
It's going to kick you off.
Limited. I think it's limited to 40 minutes.
So. Similar to whatever the other one was.
Zoom.
Free
Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Free Zoom. I guess the last thing is, the other thing about being patient is that if you are patient, you can plan, and then you don't have to do things twice. So like I'm doing the permaculture course.
Right.
That's because I would like to just throw up a garden and just have it done. But I'd rather just go through this course and know that I'm doing it right the first time. I'm not going to put things in a dumb spot like I did the first year, so I can have more success this spring.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I think is funny is that old timey English, King James type English, is the word for patience is long suffering. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to suffer. And I certainly don't want to do it long.
It's good for you.
So
it's all a journey.
Okay. So we're gonna build patience through suffering.
I did have one other thing.
Okay.
So like I know like there's like doomers out there, and we did the whole like collapse now and avoid the rush.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow we're all still here. So like we probably have more time than you think, but maybe not as much as you hope. So find that balance and like, get yourself situated for what may come, I would say.
Yeah, I think I think too many people are preparing for the big collapse and not preparing, for the SHTF, and not preparing for the long, drawn out, time.
It's like getting sucked into a black hole, right? Like it's just like it just stretches on forever in infinity, and you never actually like get to the other side, right?
Yep. And or the long slow collapse is more of the challenge. So, I mean, trash bill went up X number of dollars. I've been if I go to the nursery to get some truckloads of compost, it's like 40% more than it was last year. Stuff like that,
Dang.
And it's ridiculous. But so, yeah, good advice. Okay, give a little bit of background on how people can look up Farm Hop Life.
You can go to FarmHopLife.com. We do interviews like this one. We do farm tours when we can. I do a series called Famous Farmers where I do a quick bio on a famous farmer. I've done Alan Savory, the guy Alan Savory ripped off, and on crap, I forgot his name. He's a French dude. And I did, who's the Australian dude? I'm totally blanking. Sepp Holzer. And tomorrow I'm releasing Ron Finley.
Okay.
So
yeah,
check
Sepp
those
Holzer
out.
isn't the Australian dude.
Austrian dude.
Yeah, Austrian. Yeah.
Yeah. And and the men's forum, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find links to all that.
Semi frequently on Monday nights. So yeah.
That's right.
Sounds good. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Thanks for having me, Scott.
You bet.